Well, as Oklahoma lawmakers reconvene at our state capitol, one of the issues they will consider this session could well determine the future of Oklahoma's burgeoning wine industry. In 2006, Oklahomans voted to allow direct shipments from local wineries to retail stores and restaurants. But the amendment was later ruled unconstitutional because it allowed in-state wineries to sell direct while out-of-state operators could not. A ruling that grape growers say could bottle up the future of Oklahoma's wine industry. Our Lisa Hines reports.
What kind of wine do you like?
For Marty Hazelwood, opening the winery of the Wichitas was the cork in the bottle.
Love grapes, love wine, and it just seemed like a natural thing to do when I retired. Because I love wine and I wanted to be a winemaker and own a winery.
But there's a hiccup in the way Marty can sell her wine.
$164.05. Does not make any sense at all to me why me as a winemaker and an Oklahoman can send my product out of state to anyone who wants to buy it, anyone of age who wants to buy it in certain states. But I can't even send it to my fellow Oklahomans who want to buy it.
She's referring to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that invalidates an Oklahoma law that allows wineries to ship directly to their customers, forcing growers like Hazelwood to now sell their wine through established liquor distributors.
When you have to give your profit to someone else to distribute your product, it affects your business. And we're fortunate here in that we're in a tourist area, so we didn't really expect that distributing was going to be a large part of our market, but it was definitely, the plan was for it to be part of our market, and now that's a moot point.
And for many rural producers, like Andrew Snyder of Sandhill Vineyard, being able to self-distribute would be helpful.
We're so small, there's 50 small boutique wineries out there, that it's very difficult for us to distribute our product, and we've actually been handcuffed since that June 15th ruling, where now we can only sell through our tasting rooms, which are remotely located, or at festivals.
A limitation that could affect entire communities. According to Gene Clifton, owner of Canadian River Vineyard, wineries are giving a boost to rural economies.
I mean, there's been businesses pop up all around us just because we're there. To say nothing of the tax base going up in the local communities. Economically, tourism and agriculture. That's what this is all about.
And lawmakers are listening.
What are the other challenges that, as legislators, we can help you with?
At a recent hearing, wine producers were able to voice their concerns.
I live 10 miles from Hobart. Right now, I have a store that sells a little bit for me, small mom and pop situation. I have to drive my case of wine to Oklahoma City. Then here recently, I'm selling my wine for $6 a bottle. They delivered that same bottle of wine back to Hobart, Oklahoma, 7 miles from me for $8.05. Well, I have to go make that sale. They're not gonna sell it for me, so I have to drive up and sell it to him and then drive it to Oklahoma City. That's the issue, that's the gap.
A gap that the president of Oklahoma's Grape Growers Association, Gary Butler, says needs closing.
There is a gap between the wholesale system and the small winery, and because we're such a small volume and we market differently than the big wineries, if you're distributing your wine through the wholesale system nationwide, you've got people out there selling your wine, you've got people working on building the demand on the consumer side. Wineries really depend on that personal contact and building relationships. So when you're selling it directly and you're visiting with those wineries and making deliveries and finding out what the consumers are saying and what products are selling and not selling, there's the instant feedback mechanism that kind of critical for those small wineries to build their business.
Let me have the bigger bottle.
Before this June 15th ruling, I myself, just a small 2,000 case winery, was in about 40 stores in the Oklahoma City area. I'm about 25 miles west of Oklahoma City in El Reno. And so being in those stores, and that's just a pittance of what I could if I worked on it, I'd be able to distribute my product, sell my product in a way, those customers who wanted those products, even in other areas of the state when I appear at festivals, I could establish new connections with other retail liquor stores. So being able to self-distribute would really help the Oklahoma grape and wine industry.
But because of the federal court ruling, allowing small Oklahoma wineries to self-distribute would open the door for large national distributors to bypass state wholesalers, which would hurt their business.
It's no different than the car business or any other business. If you come at them with some kind of a threat, they're going to react, and all the legislators here will tell you the same thing. If they're really being honest, they're going to make sure that their business is not encroached upon. So I think the challenge, as I see it, for wine producers and wineries and for the entire industry, is to figure out how to get you up a step or two without encroaching on them,
while also letting a homegrown industry thrive.
It contributes to the sales tax. We employ people. We're doing good things for the state by growing those grapes here, producing the product here, and then supplying it to consumers who more and more want to drink wine with their meals.
A trend grape growers say will only flourish by the legislature pruning Oklahoma liquor laws.